Here is another testimony of the use of devices for developing the concentration of eternal life PRK1U, configured according to medical profiles. Hello, dear friends. I am Bela Zaseva, a citizen of the Russian Federation. I have been familiar with the teachings of Grigory Petrovich Grabovoi since 2002 and have been systematically engaged in this teaching ever since. I have become convinced over this long period that this teaching is accessible to everyone. I have been getting a lot of results, and now I want to testify about the result that I received specifically using the PRK1U3 mode devices configured for medical purposes in August 2020. There was such a result. Restoration of the right knee ankle joint and right hip after severe injury during a fall from a height on August 6, 2020 and restoration of knee joint tissue. And my result? Here I testify that on August 6, 2020, I fell and severely injured my right leg in the middle of the tibia and ankle joint. The area of damage was very large in terms of external signs. Without moving from the spot, as I had already become accustomed to over a long period, immediately examined the leg and immediately fixed it as healthy. Then I applied an iodine grid through the damaged areas and used a number series, writing directly on the skin, on the right leg, a number series for unknown conditions 4,812,531 from the book by Grigory Grabovoi Restoration of the Human Organism Through Concentration on Numbers. When I wrote the numerical series after that, I entered a state of consciousness that corresponds to a healthy leg and which corresponds to the state in which the vibrational structure of the numerical series 48125531 is achieved. After that, I turned on the devices, called my student, with whom I work on the PRK1U3 mode devices, configured according to medical profiles, which are available on the internet for free use, and together we started working on the PRK1U with the fifth device, with the function of developing concentration, realizing eternal life for all. And we worked with her on the goal of restoring the normality of my right leg. We used schemes that were taken from Grigory Grabovoi's book Recovery of Man's Matter by Concentration on Numbers to restore the matter of bones, joints, and ligaments of the right leg. We worked for more than an hour and a half until I was sure that there was no fracture in my leg. The pain went away. After a while, however, the hematoma was so extensive all over the foot and thigh that it was impossible to step on the foot. At that time, I added more numerical series to the work for traumatic shock 1454814 and bruise 0156912, also from the book Restoration of the Human Organism Through Concentration on Numbers. I worked on the device for half an hour intermittently during the day. By the end of the day, I understood what had happened, that is, I realized why it had happened, and I also felt confident that I could cope on my own. I did not go to an ambulance. All the next 3 days I worked intermittently on the devices, on all 5 devices. I started with the first device, ended with the fifth device. I always worked on the fifth device for 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes, and on the other devices for 10 minutes. In addition, since there was a situation with coronavirus in the city and all over the country and the world, I worked in parallel and used 4 more methods of coronavirus protection systematically to neutralize the viral situation. Already on the 3rd day, by the evening of the 9th of August, after prolonged work on the 5th device, I felt that I wanted to sleep. This state is known to me when certain information from the physical tissue is displaced from the body. And I, by reciting to myself the numerical series from the book, Number Series for Psychological Normalization, by Grigory Petrovich on the term ousting 598717988139, I entered an expanded state of consciousness, that is, I entered a spiritual resonance with the vibrational level of this numerical series. and this is a familiar state in which there is a very rapid recovery of organs and tissue regeneration. This is a state of consciousness in which the body naturally restores the norm of health. I felt an unknown force leveling my right leg. There was work going on in the vessels, ligaments, joints, throughout the entire body. The system, the body itself was rebuilding the leg. It was such a pleasant environment, painless. I realized from the way the recovery work was going on that there was a dislocation of ligaments. Then I felt the pleasant touch of a thickened cloth over my right knee joint. It was some kind of very soft substance of matter. It occurred to me that this was the light of living matter. Then there was an instantaneous shift of tissue from top to bottom in the right knee joint. I realized that the tissue of the right knee joint had been replaced, because I had previously worked on this tissue for a very long time. My whole body was filled with a pleasant warmth, and I fell asleep. When I woke up, there was no pain in my leg, and I could already walk. Over the next few days, I continued to work on the devices to normalize my right leg. I was helped by 4 other people in the group. After 10 days, I went to a trauma center and had an X-ray. The doctor concluded, closed, partial damage to the capsular ligament apparatus of the right ankle joint and prescribed treatment. I calmed down completely, continued to work on the devices. By the end of August, my leg had regained its original shape. I believe that the salvation of my leg after such a strong trauma was due to the application of Eternal Life technology, by using the 3-mode device PRK1U, adjusted for medical purposes, using the function of the device to develop concentrations of eternal life, providing eternal life to all. Such devices should be disseminated as soon as possible for use in medical practice, for rehabilitation after injuries, especially in sports medicine. Since unlike conventional rehabilitation, this device restores tissue to the level of absence of trauma information. And as the physical body of a person is a carrier of information, when there is no pain, when there is no information of trauma, then a person reproduces healthy information by the body and a person is healthy. I also consider that the replacement of the knee joint tissue took place due to realization of the function of all devices, collective work, use of the device's action, and also due to the use by me for a long time of technologies from various works of Grigory Petrovich Grabovoi, as a result of which, when working for a long time and with a group on the devices PRK1U, 3-mode, adjusted according to medical profiles, this collective action worked and the matter was replaced. I thank deeply our teacher Grigory Petrovich for his knowledge, the light of which intensifies with each passing day and more people touch it. I thank all those who systematically work on the devices, strengthening the collective action of the device. With your invisible work you save people's lives, raise the level of vibration of the light of life and the earth. I thank my team, and to my present testimony, I enclose a medical certificate, a photo of the state of my leg at the moment of injury, after the injury, healing, and the medical certificate itself. Thank you all for your attention.